HelloGreedo's Top 5 Lightsaber Fights. Oh, this video is sure to shake a lot of heads. Number 5, Rey, Kylo against Snoke's guards. I don't know about you, but when this scene was done in Snoke's throne room, I was worn out. The fight was absolutely intense, choreographed chaos. The events that just transpired before all hell broke loose was so unexpected, not only for the audience, but for everyone else on screen as well, except for Kylo, I guess, because he initiated it all. Two people who can relate to one another deeply, but are enemies, Kylo and Rey, flipping a switch in a moment and working together. This fight was a pretty big turning point in the direction of everything. In The Last Jedi, I personally thought that things were going to lead towards Rey and Kylo coming together in some form or fashion, because they do have a deep connection. They're both lost, they're both trying to find their way. But when Kylo holds out his hand, tells Rey to join him, toss away the dogma of the light and the dark, the Jedi and the Sith, let's start fresh, and she refuses, it was an exhausting and grounded fight. It was shot beautifully, choreographed with maximum excitement. Number 4, Luke versus Kylo. Oh, I can hear it now. That's not even a real lightsaber fight. Yeah, you might be right, but you're gonna have to let this one slide on a technicality, silly goose. Luke against Kylo was one of the most interesting takes on a lightsaber fight yet. And I would take a monk like Luke Skywalker projection apologizing to his nephew, trying to make amends, being a true Jedi, as his hothead nephew swings for the fences out of anger and spite over this every time. Kylo Ren, full of so much anger and hatred, wanting nothing more than to slice his old teacher, his uncle, down. So caught up with rage, wasting time fighting a ghost, unable to focus, impossible to win. I guess I can understand why people wanted Luke to be like the ultimate badass and just swing his green lightsaber and be super duper level 24 Force Jedi. Honestly, if Luke just randomly popped up in that cave and he was really there just for the sake of being there, just for the sake of having like a lightsaber fight, oh, Luke Skywalker appeared randomly, woohoo, he saved the day, I would have just rolled my goddamn eyes out of their skull. This is way more inventive. It's a twist. And I like twists. So, for its inventiveness, its spin on what was expected, the twist and turn that it presented, the frustration on Kylo's face, the redemption of Luke's attitude, Luke and Kylo on Crate is fantastic. A lightsaber fight that isn't technically a lightsaber fight, it's a one-way fight, it's a trick. And it is my number 4 because it is unique, it's different, and it's really interesting. Come on, give it to me. Don't get mad. Give it to me. Number 3, Obi-Wan, Qui-gon, and Darth Maul. Out of all the prequel lightsaber fights, the one in The Phantom Menace between Maul, Qui-gon, and Obi-Wan feels the most grounded, as choreographed as it is. Compared to many of the other times we see lightsabers clashing in the prequels, it feels realistic. It's fast, it's exciting, the music is the cadence. I've always loved this lightsaber fight. While it isn't the most dialogue heavy, which is a quality I prefer leading into or during lightsaber battles, I find its elegance and fluidity really great. It is by far my favorite lightsaber fight in the prequels, by far. You guys already know this, but the prequel lightsaber fights don't do much for me at all. In fact, I kind of like the lightsaber fights in the Clone Wars cartoon show more than a lot of the prequel fights. Number 2, The Empire Strikes Back. The confrontation between Vader and Luke in The Empire Strikes Back really is the perfect example of what I love about lightsaber fights. Two characters with a past coming together, heavy dialogue, discussion, combat, a conversation is going on. All of the lightsaber fights that remain memorable to me, for the most part, are part fight, part dialogue. And this particular duel is slow-paced, it's dark, it's dreary. Vader seems to be toying with Luke in a way. Luke has arrived to save his friends, but has fallen into a trap. Even if this duel didn't have the "no, I am your father" moment, it would still be at this point on my list. The fight is full of tension, the audience is hanging on every word as Vader constantly marches towards Luke, and it is a perfect example of what I love about lightsaber fights. Number 1, Return of the Jedi. Luke, Vader, the Emperor, friends in trouble, the entire rebellion caught in a trap. The lightsaber fight in Return of the Jedi to me is the perfect lightsaber fight. The perfect lightsaber fight. It is all substance. We see Luke's inner turmoil, the conflict within him, the pull. The Emperor is the puppet master, Vader is the puppet. What I love about this fight is how erratic and chaotic it eventually becomes. Luke is holding his own. He has honed his skills a bit. Eventually he is bested and hides in the dark. Vader is speaking to him. Luke is struggling, sitting there in the dark, his eyes close. And when Vader mentions Luke's twin sister, and says, "If you will not be turned, perhaps she will," Luke pops up and yells, "Never!" His rage, his anger, everything he has trained to overcome and prevent interfering with his clear mind is now flowing through him. He wails on his father. No elegance, no method to the madness, he swings with hatred. And what follows when Luke has a moment of empathy, of clarity, looking at the machine beneath the man, he throws away his lightsaber, tells the Emperor that he has failed. He's not gonna fight. And of course, Vader's redemption in the end. See, this is my favorite lightsaber fight because lightsaber fights are best when they're built around conversation and consequence. Sure, I can enjoy the junk food lightsaber fights too, but fights like this at the end of Return of the Jedi, ones where lightsabers are used sparingly and lightsabers are used around a broader scene. Lightsaber fights that are grounded, that feel relatively realistic. Ones where we learn more about characters, motivations, and heavy dialogue is exchanged. To me, those lightsaber fights are the best.